Oh dear, an impromptu midnight snack. That's the beauty of having a place in the country.
Dame Patricia Routledge passed away at the age of 96, leaving behind a massive artistic legacy along with swirling rumors about her solitary private life. For decades, the public wondered why a talented, wealthy woman chose to live without a husband, children, or partners, and why she abruptly vanished from the screen at the height of her fame. Following the funeral, those closest to her decided to speak out, revealing long-hidden aspects of the Iron Lady's choices. These confirmed truths offer a portrait of an artist who lived fiercely until her very last breath. After Dame Patricia Routledge passed away on October 3, 2025, a wave of speculation about loneliness and illness in her final years erupted. Many unofficial news outlets assumed that since she had no children or immediate relatives, she lived her final days forgotten in Chichester. Her family and representatives quickly released official information to dispel these fabricated stories. In a statement to The Guardian, her representative confirmed, "Dame Patricia passed away peacefully in her sleep, surrounded by the care and love of those closest to her. The truth is, she was never abandoned. On the contrary, she maintained a strong network of theater colleagues and longtime intellectual friends." Factual data shows that even into her 90s, Patricia retained incredible mental clarity and a tireless work ethic. She did not disappear as the media imagined. Instead, she shifted her focus entirely to community and charitable activities. As an ambassador for the Royal Voluntary Service, she frequently participated in events supporting the elderly and promoting the values of public service. Those who worked with her during this period recalled that she maintained her professional demeanor, absolute punctuality, and the sharp wit that had become her trademark. The privacy Patricia guarded her whole life was often mistaken for social withdrawal. But for her, it was the only way to protect her dignity as an artist. After her passing, close friends revealed she still followed the contemporary theater scene closely and often sent handwritten letters of encouragement to young actors. This sense of peace and iron discipline did not appear by chance. It was forged in her early days as a girl from a humble, rural area. To understand why a global star could give everything up to return to simplicity, we must go back in time to where it all began. Humble roots. Patricia Routledge was born on February 17, 1929 in Birkenhead, Cheshire, in a setting completely removed from the glittering stage lights of London. Her father, Isaac Edgar Routledge, was a dedicated tailor and haberdasher, a profession demanding absolute precision and attention to detail. The Routledge family belonged to the typical working class of that era, where a person's worth was measured by diligence and endurance rather than distant artistic dreams. In such an environment, theater was not viewed as a real profession. It was seen as a frivolous hobby offering no economic security. While they lacked an artistic background, Patricia's parents placed great importance on education, which opened the doors for her to access language and literature. She attended Birkenhead High School and later the University of Liverpool, where she began displaying the qualities of a promising actress through student productions. Rather than receiving enthusiastic support from the start, Patricia faced the reality of having no connections or safety net in the entertainment industry. Every subsequent success was built on a foundation of solitude and self-reliance in an industry that heavily favored those from prestigious backgrounds. The first major turning point arrived when she earned a place at the renowned Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, a rigorous training ground that forged her iron instincts. During this period, Patricia realized that to survive, she had to be better than everyone else, especially classmates from upper-class families. She once recalled this time in The Guardian, "I had no financial safety net or any family connections. I relied entirely on scholarships and sheer persistence to move forward." This self-awareness of her humble origins made her private and wary of the superficial glamour of celebrity life. The 1950s and 1960s were times of extreme trial, as Patricia joined touring theater companies, moving constantly between gray industrial cities. She frequently slept in cheap rented rooms, ate makeshift meals, and performed in technically lacking conditions. These experiences helped her master diverse acting skills and fostered an independent mindset, sometimes misinterpreted by others as coldness or being unapproachable. She learned to protect herself from the pressures of male-dominated producers who sought to pigeonhole women into faded or purely decorative roles. The discipline she inherited from her tailor father was strictly applied to her acting, creating a work style precise to every breath. A former theater colleague once revealed that Patricia was always the first to arrive and knew the script by heart before the first rehearsal began, using it as a way to assert her position. To her, acting was not about seeking applause, it was a task to be completed with the highest perfection. This near-extreme seriousness made her a unique phenomenon in the eyes of critics, a woman who needed no scandal to be noticed. She always maintained a safe distance from the press, refusing to let her private life be dissected like merchandise on a newsstand. Patricia shared her professional philosophy. I am a character actress, and my job is to convey the character's story, not to tell my own story to the whole world. This separation helped her maintain a necessary mystery, and it was also the reason rumors of loneliness began to emerge. The more she succeeded on stage and television, the further she withdrew into her private world in Chichester, where she could be herself without any mask. That wall of separation was built not just from pride, but from emotional wounds she chose to heal on her own. The upcoming series of losses would become the ultimate test of the resilience she had spent decades building, revealing a dark corner that fame never touched. Silent pain. Behind the stern exterior and brilliant career, Dame Patricia Routledge's life was a chain of sudden losses she masked with rigorous work discipline. The first tragedy occurred in 1957, while she was striving to make a name for herself in local theaters. The passing of her mother, Catherine Routledge, stripped Patricia of her greatest emotional anchor at the time she needed guidance most. Instead of pausing to mourn, she chose to return to the stage immediately, a habit of confronting pain through busyness that she would maintain for life. Colleagues of that era rarely saw her shed a tear. For Patricia, showing personal weakness was unthinkable in a professional environment. In 1985, when Patricia was in middle age and had achieved significant success, her father, Isaac Edgar Routledge, passed away. This event officially severed her final physical link to her Birkenhead roots and her family's working-class origins. Her father's death was not just a personal sorrow. It pushed her into a state of biological solitude, with no one left to share the traditional values she cherished. The most shocking event with the deepest psychological impact was the death of her only brother, Kenneth Graham Routledge, in 1989. Kenneth was not just a brother, he was a priest, a spiritual mentor, and the only relative Patricia truly trusted to discuss the pressures of fame. Painfully, Kenneth died just before the series Keeping Up appearances turned Patricia into a global icon in 1990. In The Guardian, she once spoke about her attitude toward loss. Death does not make the world stop turning. Work must go on, roles must be finished, and the stage curtain must still rise. Receiving peak glory in a state of total orphanhood turned her into a true oasis in the heart of London. She masterfully channeled this suppressed emotion into art, creating characters with an uncanny toughness, while simultaneously causing the public to misunderstand her nature. For decades, Patricia was labeled cold or unapproachable, as she rejected every interview digging into personal feelings or family milestones. In reality, she spent much of her free time maintaining charitable and religious activities, a way to continue her late brother's legacy and connect with him spiritually. Later confirmations from her family assert that she never fully moved past those pains. She simply learned to live with them in the most dignified way possible. The absence of immediate relatives for the final 30 years of her life created a space of absolute silence for Patricia to focus on her theatrical career. She sought no comfort from flashy social circles or high society parties, finding it instead in the discipline of learning scripts and live performances. The truth about this silent pain is why she became extremely sensitive to scripts lacking authenticity or characters that were too ridiculous. She understood that real life is always harsher than any play, and an actor's duty is to protect that truth at all costs. As the pain of loss pushed her into a state of absolute solitude, the public began to question another vast void in the Iron Lady's private life. Behind the family tragedies, people realized she had never let anyone into her heart, creating an enigma spanning nearly a century regarding her freedom or the price of her solitude. The secret of remaining single. One of the most curious aspects of Dame Patricia Routledge's life was that she never married, had no children, and never publicly disclosed any romantic relationships for nearly 100 years. This absolute secrecy gave rise to countless media theories over the decades, ranging from rumors of a broken heart in the past to the idea that she chose a stoic lifestyle to serve her art. After her passing on October 3, 2025, family and close representatives confirmed this was not a personal tragedy, but a proactive choice to protect her personal freedom. Throughout a career spanning over 70 years, Patricia Routledge maintained an iron boundary between the stage lights and her private space in Chichester. She never appeared on a red carpet with a companion or left any trace of a domestic life in interviews at her home. When facing direct questions about why she chose a solitary life, she often gave brief, decisive answers to end further inquiry. Quoted in The Guardian, she once stated, "I didn't make a decision not to marry or not to be a mother. It's just that my involvement with acting was so total. My life happened as it did because my involvement in the theater was total." For Routledge, acting was not just a career. It was an entity demanding absolute possession of both time and mind. Years of tireless touring, rehearsals lasting from dawn until late at night, and constant travel between the UK and New York left no room for a traditional family life. She admitted to having no need to adjust her personal rhythm to fit another person. This independence allowed her full control over her finances, script choices, and time management. Privileges many women of her generation often had to sacrifice or share upon entering marriage. Her family revealed that Patricia deeply cherished the silence of returning home after a brilliant performance, a place where she could be herself without playing any other roles like wife or mother. Solitude was a positive state for her, helping her recharge and keep her mind sharp for the next complex character. This lifestyle also helped her avoid the romantic scandals typical of the entertainment world, keeping the image of a dame pristine and respectable. She understood well that in a world where privacy is a luxury, keeping personal secrets was the best way to maintain the dignity of a true artist. Patricia once said, "I am an actress. My job is to perform on stage, not to put my life on exhibition for the world to see." This steadfast attitude earned her respect from colleagues and turned her into a symbol of freedom and independence for modern women. Her decision to leave no emotional will or private memoirs after passing was her final act of asserting control over her life until the end. This autonomy was also the foundation that allowed her to make fierce professional decisions. Despite immense pressure from networks and the expectations of millions of viewers worldwide, the decision to walk away from the character that brought her ultimate fame was a calculated move, reflecting her uncompromising nature. This shock not only changed the trajectory of Patricia's career, but also raised big questions about the price of fame and the self-respect of an artist. The shock of walking away. In 1995, while the television series Keeping Up Appearances held global viewership records and was exported to dozens of countries, Patricia Routledge made a decision that sent shockwaves through the British entertainment industry. She announced she would not continue the role of Hyacinth Bucket after season 5, right when the show was in its golden era and generating massive profits for the BBC. This sudden departure sparked rumors of irreparable conflicts with the crew or unmet salary demands. The truth behind the shock, however, lay in Patricia's absolute respect for art and the self-esteem of a true stage actress. The real reason behind her decision to abandon the spotlight was clarified in a frank interview with The Guardian. "I brought that role to an end, which the BBC, of course, didn't like very much. I felt the writer was beginning to recycle old ideas. I always remember the great Ronnie Barker. He always stopped when he was at the height of something, so people would say, "Oh, why aren't you doing it anymore?" Instead of saying, "Is that still on?" Hi! To Patricia, repeating old jokes was not just creative laziness, but an insult to the audience's intelligence. She feared that if she continued, the character of Hyacinth would become a ridiculous caricature, tarnishing the serious theatrical career she had built over decades. Her persistence in protecting the character's authenticity sometimes created sharp tensions on set between her and writers like Roy Clark. Patricia was famous for being extremely strict with scripts, ready to refuse scenes she felt were inconsistent with the character's psychology or too far removed from reality. She steadfastly refused to allow her character to be downgraded into a mere caricature or a clownish figure simply to elicit cheap, easy laughter from the audience. While this uncompromising level of control caused some members of the production team to label her as a difficult and demanding collaborator, it was that exact, unwavering dedication to artistic integrity that ensured keeping up appearances, maintained a standard of excellence, and a layer of sophistication far superior to many other television programs of the era. Walking away from such a lucrative and career-defining role was an act of immense bravery, serving as a clear testament to her identity as an artist who prioritized spiritual and creative fulfillment over the allure of financial wealth. However, after departing from the series, Patricia was forced to confront the harsh reality that the public had deeply pigeonholed her as the snobbish and overbearing Hyacinth Bucket, a public perception that made her transition back into serious, complex theatrical roles an uphill battle. She had to work twice as hard to prove her range through complex stage plays and classical musical performances. Even as her visibility significantly declined, she persisted on her chosen path, refusing all offers for reunions or spin-offs, capitalizing on past success. Patricia's silence in the following years continued to be fertile ground for malicious rumors of loneliness and poverty. The world seemed unable to believe a star could be satisfied with a quiet life, away from the spotlight without any regret. Final confirmations from those closest to her would clarify how she faced old age and the passage of time with immense pride. The final truth revealed after her death is the portrait of a woman who succeeded in living a full life on her own terms. She proved that happiness does not necessarily have to follow universal formats regarding family or a constant public presence. Her passing at age 96 marks the end of a golden era where the artist valued self-respect over flashy fame. The legacy she leaves behind is not just films or plays, but a lesson in maintaining oneself against the pressures of time and status. The secrets have been decoded, the rumors extinguished. All that remains is respect for a great personality who dedicated herself to the truth of art until her last breath. If you enjoyed the inspiring journey and pride of Dame Patricia, please like and share this video to spread her legacy to more people. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss other special stories about screen legends. Thank you for watching. Please leave your thoughts on this Iron Lady in the comments below, and see you in the next videos.